that was good timing to pop my knuckles. Bam, 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 bam.
I'm gonna go lay down.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 64 Bits of Rage. Oh, and there's a cat playing with the thing, and my husband's gone. That don't happen.
Episode 5.
Oh, I was like, no, it's not. Wait, yeah, it is. It's episode 5 of 64 Bits of Rage. He took his cat toy away. He took the cat toy away.
Then he ran out looking for it.
He's very mad at you right now.
Okay. I'm Anthony Schultz.
I'm Ariel Skahulitz.
Yep, this is 64 Bits of Rage.
That's
Why do
right.
I sound yep.
64 Bits of Rage. What are we talking about, Gunzer?
We're going to be talking about DLC specifically for the Nintendo Switch because it's kind of a new thing for Nintendo
Switch.
games to even have DLC.
Dude, he's right, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you
It's
think
got
about...
like side quests, but DLC though, that's like a new thing for it. That's so weird to think about.
Yeah, I don't remember. I mean, I'm sure there was, like, in some limited capacity. And I can look it up as we record, but on the Wii.
No,
Maybe the Wii U, because I don't know much about that.
Yeah, we didn't have it. We don't have the past tense, past tense, present tense.
Sometimes tense.
Sometimes tense. Oh god, the brain fell apart. Yeah, no, we never had a Wii U, so
So they could have as well, but
we just don't know.
I don't know. Traditionally, Nintendo hasn't really dabbled in DLC,
No.
but like Microsoft and Sony have been doing it for a couple generations now.
Yeah, I think pretty much since it was easily downloadable and more accessing
Like
like
PS3 and 360.
Yeah, because PS2 had internet access, but was more geared towards a
You had to
DVD.
buy like a separate thing, though, and it could only be a hard Ethernet connection.
Yeah, and it was
so.
more geared towards it being a cool DVD player than actually a console. And then I don't know about the Xbox itself. So that's so weird. That's like the PS3 generation is when DLC started rolling out because it had
at least for
access to
Sony, for sure.
Well, yeah, we know that for Sony because we're more of a Sony and Nintendo heavy podcast.
But yeah, like, so PS3, I want to say came out like 2006 or something like that, somewhere in there.
That's
so
weird to think
we've
of.
had a good, like, I don't know, 15 years of Sony doing DLC. Just about. And then Nintendo really hasn't.
This year, 2020, actually.
Yeah.
Well, 2019 is predicted, but 2020 was rolling out. Fucking it played that what came out 2017, and so it's 3 years of the Switch, and then it's rolling out with DLC, and DLC was 2006 with the PlayStation 3.
Yeah, I'll look that up real quick just to get my like.
Little late to the game there, but at the same breath.
They never really had like online infrastructure and stuff.
But they never really needed it either.
Like the Wii did, but it was pretty limited. It was pretty much so you could get
Netflix
like
on the Wii.
Yeah, and it had like YouTube and Netflix and stuff, and then you could.
Did it have YouTube? I don't know. I never did.
I believe
YouTube
it did
on the Wii.
And then you could. They had like an eShop and stuff. I remember downloading some like old games.
Mm-hmm.
Like I got to play like Link to the Past on the Wii, Final Fantasy IV. Things along those lines, but it really wasn't until the 360 PS3 generation when they had like online stores and it was tied into like PS3 kind of lacked in this capacity, but like online chatting and stuff like that with mics. So it first released in 2006 in Japan, and then 2006 in North America as well. So it had a little bit later release in Europe and Australia. It was 2007.
Ah, okay.
And that was a year after the 360. So 360 came out then, and it had to be 05. And so 15 years DLC between the two, because that's really when they started building their online stores.
Yeah, the online infrastructure going on there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it makes more sense too. 2006, where internet's more relatively available. People were having like on internet access for laptops and stuff. So that makes sense why Microsoft kind of rolled out with it potentially first, and then PlayStation kind of like dominated. So
yeah, by the end, absolutely. 360 did really well. It's probably Microsoft's best console to date. And then PS3 picked up steam a lot later. They finally did a price cut because it was exorbitantly expensive.
It was like, what, $600?
I think it was $700.
Yeah, like $700. I'm sorry, I haven't got fucking $700. We'll just whip the dick out and give it to you there.
So there's a message board here from the Nintendo Wii.
Ooh.
So this person asked, Hammer Hollywood. This is only a year ago, too. Is there a list somewhere for the Wii games with DLC? I just want to see if I could purchase some of these before the closure. So this must have been right before they were closing down everything.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
It's already closed. I still have points to use, though.
Sucker.
Which is super funny, because they announced, like, way ahead of time when they were closing the Wii store. And
like, you're, like, late to the game, dude. Pay attention to that shit.
So this person just says that a few WiiWare games, which are like their downloadable titles, had DLC add-ons, but
I don't even know what the fuck that is.
And the only disc-based games with DLC on the Wii were music games.
Well, that makes sense because it's a music game like DJ Hero and stuff like that. And
yeah, so it's like Rock Band, Guitar Hero, Just Dance, things like that.
Well, that makes sense though with those because it's not necessarily DLC; it's just add-ons to. Like,
and that would be more third-party kind of thing.
Like, yeah, we're talking about, like, straight Nintendo games with DLC, and this is honestly the first time I've ever heard of it, DLC for Nintendo, and honestly, the ones that they're rolling out with pisses me off.
Yeah, so there might be some examples with, like, older Nintendo consoles, but few and far between, and you'd be probably hard-pressed to scrounge them up, unless it's something that you specifically played back in the day and bought the DLC for it, so you know, but...
Because if anything, like I never really heard of DLC on Nintendo. Well, let me backtrack a bit because obviously, Zelda Breath of the Wild had DLC, but they're more amped up for advertising DLC this time around in 2020 than when it first launched.
They seem to be, yeah. I remember
so let me correct
Breath of the Wild, people talking about the expansion pass and the DLC
word to
for
mouth,
it.
Though.
But I don't remember it really being like... It didn't seem to be a focus of Nintendo's. It was just like, oh, this is Zelda. This is special. This is the first thing that's come out for the... It was a launch title for the Switch. And so...
Here's the DLC for it.
I feel like I distinctly remember, too, people saying that it was like the first time or one of the first times that DLC had ever come out for a first-party Nintendo game.
Yeah, which especially was Zelda. Now, I do want to backtrack, too, as well. I still think Breath of the Wild is not a Zelda game, but it is a good game if you think of it as something else.
Yeah, because I've been playing it. I started it after our last podcast. And I play it like I play an open world RPG, like Assassin's Creed or something.
Yeah, but like that's the way...
And if you play it like that, it works
perfectly.
Just fine. It's a little clunky, in my opinion, in some areas. That's not too bad, because I always seem to have a host of weapons.
I never did for some reason, but I didn't play it like that, though.
But I pick everything out because I just think of it as RPG. You collect everything.
So this is where, I know we're in a little sidetracked here again, but this is where you and I differ, but are the same, because like you've always played kind of RPGs and open worlds, and when I played Zelda, I played it like a Zelda game.
Well, yeah, because they're linear.
Yeah, they're very linear.
But for me, I like I've said before in prior podcasts, I like the other Zelda games, which are actually more open world.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you can do dungeons out of order and stuff, and you can, depending on where you can get and what items you have.
Yeah.
It is very much Metroidvania.
Yeah.
It is a little bit more open world and less linear than the 3D Zeldas
that I
in
like.
Between, which I didn't play.
No, and you didn't play, and that's where
I went back years later and played Ocarina of Time, but that's it.
Well, it's clunky to you because it's so old at this point. And
Breath of the Wild is clunky to me. I don't think it's a... I think it's a good game. I don't think it's a great game by any means.
No.
I don't think it's really a Zelda game, and I think the movement, the controls, the menu system, the button mapping are all really old. Like, I don't think they're very modern at all. Like, I play newer open world games, and it's very seamless and kind of natural for the most part.
Yeah.
And how you play as far as AAA open world games.
Yeah.
Zelda is not that, but it's AAA, which is really weird. It's clunky.
It really is.
It's not as smooth as playing like Assassin's Creed Odyssey or even Mad Max or these other open world games that might be more like action adventure games, but still,
it's just like,
they don't handle. It doesn't handle very well.
No,
like I will play through it and finish it. Like I'm curious about the story and stuff, but.
But yeah, and it's like, that's what I was just kind of getting at, because when you played through it, I'm like, okay, I can see how you're playing it, how this wouldn't make you aggravated like it did me. Because
I'm just collecting things and going where I want to go and slowly meandering to the next point and stuff. And killing everything along the way. And like, I'm just doing how I would normally play.
Yeah.
It's like I clean out an area and then go to the next area. But that's how I play Assassin's Creed or Far Cry or any of these big Ubisoft open world
But when
games.
I'm playing like Breath of the Wild, I'm thinking like Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask or something like that. Or even...
trying to play it more linearly, but then it's like you don't
collect
if
the
you're not getting the
weapons.
shrines and you're not really leveling up because it doesn't have an experience system, you're not collecting a lot of things, so you can just cook all the time.
Or get the weapons you need.
Or have just a ton of weapons at this, because I max out of weapons like all the time.
And I did.
And I just go and then I use the weakest that I have
first,
until it breaks,
and then
and I save the more powerful ones that I come across just for.
And it's like, obviously, I even think of like that because obviously when you're playing Zelda, you get the one shield and one sword, and there you go.
Yeah, exactly. Because the 3D ones were set up like that. It's like it was a moment when you got a new weapon or a new shield.
Yeah.
If there was even an upgrade for it.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not in Breath of the Wild. They're throwaways.
Exactly.
It's like, okay, well, you're gonna have like 6 clubs, a hammer, and a couple. Or
you're
swords.
trying to do a freaking arrow and it snaps in your hand.
Yeah. I do like that. The arrow and bow mechanics are decent.
At least
I enjoy that because that's hard to do in a game. Like Elder Scrolls in particular comes to mind where I have difficulties using the
bow and arrow system.
So I never really did. Other ones though, like Horizon Zero Dawn, it's very centered on to use the bow anyways. Yeah. But you do get a lot of other weapons later on, but I still love using the bow in that.
It was very amazing.
And I swap it in and out. Different types of bows, and they don't break though.
True, and then like all the other Zelda games I played are the DS, which are the handheld, so it makes sense for the Switch, and then played like Spirit Tracks and stuff like that. And it's like, it's super frustrating because again they're open-ish, more linear, and you get
more linear.
You get one sword and one shield, and you're good to go.
Well, they don't break; you just have it.
Yeah, they don't break; you just have them. You may get
the most thing you have to do is like maybe switch out
a legendary sword or something. Down the road.
What you're using.
You got to do all the side quests like we talked about before to get the legendary sword. But then it's like, wait, which one was that we talked about that side quest?
But for Zelda?
No, which we talked about side quest was it PlayStation or was it the?
Oh, the side quest one that was for a Rage Quit. That was
okay. I had to reiterate
that.
We talked about it on the Rage Quit, the PlayStation one, about how side quests are important, and that kind of links into doing everything in like maybe Zelda. Then to get maybe the legendary shield or legendary sword or armor or something like that. Yeah,
like the best of the best. A lot of Metroidvanias do that as well, where it's like you don't have to finish the game with the best weapons.
No,
and stuff. Final Fantasy does that.
Makes it a little easier, but then in the same breath, you can still do it though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just if you want to. And it's off to the side.
I know. I just figured I'd reiterate that because we're talking about DLC, which fits into Zelda, but it's like...
Well, the Zelda DLC sounds like garbage in my opinion. I looked at it because I was like, okay, well, I'm going to finish this up.
I think it was free? No.
No, it's an expansion pass.
Ugh.
I'll grab the Switch and we can look at some stuff as we go.
Oh, speaking of Switch, it's handheld.
Yeah, it's just super, like, frustrating because... Breath of the Wild in particular got like near perfect reviews,
and like you play it, and it's like, what the fuck is this shit?
And a lot of it was like, oh, this is so like such cutting edge
and innovating and new.
And it's not innovative or new. I've played so many games prior to it that now do it way better.
It's not even done well.
Zelda does.
Yeah,
and it's very disappointing because I was expecting to see what other people saw in it, and
And you're right.
It's just a good game, but it's not a great game, and it's nowhere near a perfect game.
And I do see where you say it actually is relatively pretty, but when you get to like the heavier areas, the heavier civilized like people areas and stuff, and like people areas where people were living or like
little villages and
villages.
Stuff, yeah.
I don't know why I can think of the word villages or near a town or a destroyed town, but a lot of the times you're literally just walking across a fucking field.
Well, and like the shrines I find to be tedious and mostly pointless. I feel like it's just filler because they're like 2 seconds long. Like you go in, there's like a introductory kind of like little puzzle that's super easy. Then there's one that's like a little bit harder, but usually not much harder. You can figure it out in like a minute or two, and then you're at the end of it. And it's like, I wish those are like maybe fewer but more fleshed out. Like not quite the length I haven't really done a dungeon yet, but not the length of a dungeon, but half step.
I don't think there's any dungeons
if it's just shrines, then that makes me really irritated.
No, it's just shrines. There's no dungeons.
I don't like that.
You go to like the water people, the Gorons, which at least they kept those. I think the bird people.
Yeah, so if it's if it's just shrines, then it's like
no, it's just shrines.
I hate that gameplay loop.
No,
it's not difficult. It's not fun.
It's fucking tedious.
It's just
you have to do them to get the orbs to get hearts and then stamina, and then stamina is annoying too in this game.
Well, and then I don't like how so in the very beginning of the game Yeah, you bring out the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild on the Switch, and it's like GameSpot 10 out of 10, trusted reviews 5 out of 5, DualShockers 10 out of 10,
5 out
Yahoo
of
5 out of 5, Destructoid 10, IGN 10 out of 10.
5 out of 5, 10 out of 10. You know,
This is not a fucking 10 game.
Not
I don't understand it at all.
No, there's no dungeons.
Yeah, you climb the towers, and it's like, okay, you can look in this whole area. So first of all, the draw distance is fucked up because you can see beyond the area you're in.
Yes. So when you see
you can
shrine,
accidentally tag stuff that you haven't in an area that you haven't even been to yet, which doesn't help you.
It doesn't.
Because you have a limited.
It doesn't gray it out.
You can,
like you
it
know.
should. The draw distance should drop off.
Yeah. If you're not in that map area.
And it shouldn't show you anything beyond the large area.
Because you're doing that when you're doing the initial open plateau.
I was tagging stuff way further in the distance. And I'm like, I can't even go there yet because this is tutorial stuff.
Yeah,
still.
Exactly.
And then, you in the initial area, like the tutorial kind of area, you can tag pretty much everything in it.
Yeah.
If you can make sure not to get the ones outside of
the area.
So I was like, oh, okay, that's very similar to a lot of open world RPGs. Like,
yeah,
when
you do the, strategically placed bales of hay.
Yeah, they have the viewpoints in Assassin's Creed. They have the tall necks in Horizon Zero Dawn.
But then again, it just opens up the world you need to see in that part of the map.
Yeah, and in that case, you don't have to, in Horizon Zero Dawn, you don't have to tag anything. It just shows you everything on the map, and then you can go onto the map yourself, select it, and then go
Odyssey, too. Like, you don't have to tag shit. You have your bird if you need to tag stuff, but that's in, like, if it's, like, a game part where you're like, oh, okay, these enemies are escaping, use your bird to find them, and that's it.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you can tag stuff with your bird,
eagle,
depending on which one it is.
But then again, it's, like, not detrimental for you to fucking tag shrines. Or you figured out how to turn off. I didn't know how to turn off the shrine beep thing when you're near
Well, that's
shrine.
what I was getting to. So, like, I get to the next tower, and I'm like, okay, I can just select everything in this area. I can clear out all the shrines, and then go to the next objective. No, because of the topography of the area you're in, you can't feasibly see all of the shrines and everything in that area. So the tower means nothing.
They're literally hidden everywhere.
You have to use that stupid beeping chime thing, which is just going to be clicking off all the time in the background. So I ended up just turning it off, and I was like, if I come across them, I come across them. Like, I'm not going to use this unless I have to. Kind of
What's even more annoying is you get the orbs from the shrines, and then you got to find a statue to pray to and pick, well, do I need hearts or do I need stamina?
Yeah, that's pretty... I've seen that in
I know that's
games,
regular.
so I'll just go back and forth. So I started with a heart, and then I'll do stamina next, and then I'll do heart.
I know that's regular, but the same breath is like, Breath of the Wild. With the stamina, though, it's like you can't... I get not having stamina because it's open world, but it's like... It just doesn't feel naturally like you beating enemies. The upgrade system is stupid.
Well, that's what I mean. I feel like what they tried to do was, okay, well, they can explore this area of the map with these towers. And then it's like, well, there's a design flaw. You can't actually see everything from the towers depending on what area you're in. Okay, well, let's add in then this, like, kind of echolocation device so that you can find the shrines if you're close by. That'll just chime all the time. It's a hot-cold situation. And... So it's like making up for a design flaw. And then that's the same kind of thing. Like, you could do, like, main dungeons to get the items that you need. But it's like, no, we give all of the main items and abilities that you need pretty much right in the beginning of the tutorial. So, but we still need something that's like a dungeon for people to explore. Let's do these little shrines instead. And then that's how you, like, get your heart pieces and stuff. And then, well, we got a stamina system, so we're going to have to figure out how to upgrade that too. It just seems like it goes from one design flaw that's fixed this by implementing a new game mechanic. And then sometimes it's like 2 or 3 deep, where it's like, oh, we created another issue. Well, let's add this in to fix that issue then. We created another problem. Issue. And that's the whole game is that. It's just fixing problems that it started out with.
When it could have been easily just to implement like a cloud system, like it'll clear the clouds up in this area for you to see everything.
Yeah, and they just show you everything on the map. Or if they didn't want to do that, they really wanted to promote exploration and stuff, then it's like, oh, we have like these little beams of light and you can tag them, even if it's shrines behind a mountain or something. And then you can look through, like Mad Max does that. You have to go up in this little air balloon and use your binoculars to tag everything. And if you don't tag it, it doesn't show it up on your map.
Yeah,
but you can go back to the balloon and do it. Zelda just, it just went down this weird rabbit hole, and then I think a lot of these reviewers just got it stuck in their head that it's Zelda, it has to be great, the other ones have been, or some of them have been, so we're giving it a 10. And it's like, no, this game is super flawed. Like, it doesn't make sense from a gameplay standpoint.
How many death threats you get if you, like, actually wrote a review?
Oh, it's ridiculous. Like, I'm tired of people doing that. They do it with Mario, too, which I really love. Like, it's just, if you have Mario
but not Donkey Kong!
You know, we talked about this in Rage Quit, too. I think, like, Sony's starting to suffer from those kind of effects. So if it's got Naughty Dog attached to it, or Last of Us, like,
it's fucking perfect.
People are going to call it perfect, whether it is or not. And things that are new are going to be judged way more harshly, like Days Gone, and be torn to shreds.
And they're amazing games.
When that's a really great game, on par with Horizon Zero Dawn and Last of Us and Uncharted. Yeah, in the case of Nintendo Zelda, it's just like it has Zelda, so they gave it a perfect score. But you start dissecting it, like I've been playing. I've been playing it, 3 years after the fact, after it released. And do I have some familiarity with the franchise, but not a ton.
Like I do.
Yeah, and so it's just kind of going in with, like, eyes open.
Yeah.
This game is not a great game. It's just fucking not. It's decent at best. It's a 7.
Yeah.
That's what I would give it. I would give it a 7. Like, if I was out of a 10-point scale.
I was give it a 5 out of 10. You're, like, nicer than I am.
Yeah, I believe 5 out of 10. It's not a 5 out of 10, but it's a decent enough game. It gets the job done. Yeah. It looks pretty. I think it tried something new for the franchise it's in. So you got to give them credit there. They went out on a limb and tried something vastly different. But, you know, it doesn't do anything better or different or, you know, innovative, I guess is like the better word, than other open world games that are on other consoles.
Exactly.
It just doesn't. And... yeah, I mean, I could just go off about it. I just honestly just think it's a decent game. Like, and then the inclusion of DLC, it's like $20 for the season pass right now. I don't know if it was more expensive.
Probably
this
previously.
Is as of recording. But it's got like a DLC pack 1 and 2. What does DLC pack 1 entail? The Master Trials. So you get Trial of the Sword, Hero's Path mode, Master mode. So it sounds like they added extra difficulties and a few items and a trial.
Okay, that's stupid.
That should have just been given in a free patch.
Yeah, instead of calling it a DLC.
And then the second pack included the Champion's Ballad, 6 clothing items hidden in treasure chests, ancient horse gear.
That's it?
Yeah, it looks like they give you...
for $20. Fuck that shit.
Another trial. It's a different type of trial. Mysterious Voice beckons Link to challenge the Divine Beast Tamer's Trials.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so this is where Nintendo's kind of fucking up with DLC, probably because they're so new to it. If
patches are becoming DLC.
Yeah, and patches should be free. It doesn't really matter so much, in my opinion, if it's after the launch of a game. But if you're adding difficulty modes and cosmetic items and maybe like a trial or something on those, it should be free.
Because both of those
or
individual packs
incredibly cheap.
Yeah, because both those packs, even now, 3 years later, are still both $20. So that's an additional...
I think it's $20 together. I think you get both DLC packs in the
regardless,
expansion.
$10 a piece. $10 a piece. There should be like $1.99 at this fucking point.
Yeah, because Darksiders 3 had like a trial system that was added on, and it was like $5.99
yeah,
or something like that. And it was like, I find that reasonable, because if you really like the game, then you can get it.
Exactly. So this was like about 12/7/2017, so not too much longer after the actual game was released. Okay, so I want to look up...
It should have just been patched in and given that kind of content. And then if they wanted to do an expansion, it should have been... like story DLC. Do an epilogue or do a prequel or play as a different character or, you know, add like really in-depth side quests, you know, that are going to take you several hours to complete. That's what it should have been, especially for a story-driven action RPG like Zelda is, especially that one is. Maybe a whole new area.
Yeah.
You know, something along those lines.
You know,
how did...
There it is. Season... Holy shit.
It's just a little frustrating. You can just tell that Nintendo's just kind of novices at it, and their first-party studios are novices at doing proper DLC.
So let me search this better, actually. Yeah, my feet.
While you're looking at that stuff, I read a few articles before we started recording today about Nintendo also implementing paywalls in their games. So, like, subscription services.
Okay.
The Animal Crossing you like has one, actually.
Yeah, it has one even on its starter pack, or pocket.
That's what I was talking about. There's also a Fire Emblem game that is not Three Houses, but mobile. That is now behind a paywall. It just seems really weird because it's like Nintendo should be standing upon the shoulders of giants in the terms of DLC and patches. They have 15 years worth of data.
Yeah.
From Sony and Microsoft. So they can see what they did wrong, or what third-party publishers did wrong, and what they did right. And you would think they would just mimic, the fan reaction to good DLC or good
expansions
good
included
patches.
and expansion passes. Yeah, well, that cannot be purchased separately. I'm reading up the expansion passes on the Pokemon, so keep going. I'm confused by it.
Oh, it's just there's an expansion pass that has different things for each title.
Oh, that's
that
right.
one you would be spending. It's like what, $40?
Oh, no, it's like okay. So they have. Sorry to cut you off. And
so you can buy like some of the stuff a la carte.
Yeah, but if you buy a Pokemon Sword and Shield together, they have like a quote unquote deals, $119.99.
Which is they're both $60, so that's the same price as buying them separately a la carte.
So that's
it's not a deal.
That's
just
tomfooly.
It's just
right
yeah.
there.
You can buy them individually, or you can just click the button once and get both.
And then the individual expansion passes, Pokemon Sword expansion passes $29.99, and then Shield $29.99. So if you bought the double game together for $120, and then so that's $180. No, 40, yeah, $80.
$180 plus tax.
Plus tax on both games and both expansion packs. Or for $89.98, you can buy Pokemon Shield in the expansion pack, and then you can buy Pokemon Sword in the expansion pack.
Which again, that's not a deal either, because the game's $60 and the expansion pass is $30. That's exactly what it would cost if you just bought them separately.
So for right out the door, the prices are not
So
cheap.
if you're a huge Pokemon fan and it's something that you really want, you're going to spend $180. You're going to get both, and you're going to get both expansion packs, and you're going to spend almost $200, and you're not going to get a collector's Pokemon of the starters, like a figurine.
And they're stupid. The expansion packs are dumb.
Oh yeah, and they're adding more Pokemon.
That's all it is. Let me see. I'm doing the sword,
which should have been included.
So
in its release, because they cut the amount of Pokemon down in the release.
It doesn't really. Well, obviously it says but.
So that's super fucking frustrating.
It is, and it's like, why in the hell? It's a Pokemon game. It's literally in the title of the fucking name. It's Pokemon. I have to spend an extra $30 when I'm spending out of pocket cost for a $60 game. So, I don't know.
It's price gouging.
It's price gouging. I don't have the fucking money right off the bat to buy a $60 game and then a $30 expansion to get the other Pokemon. People are like, well, you can just wait and it will be cheaper. Or you can just wait. You don't need to write it. I want to play a fucking Pokemon game. My whole point of playing this is to catch Pokemon.
Well, and also, a lot of people want to be a part of the conversation. So it's like, especially on like social media with their friends.
Yeah,
so
even.
If your group of friends or people you talk to online are huge Pokemon fans,
how am I
do you want to be the guy that plays it 6 months later while all your friends are talking about it? It's like, no, you actually want to have an earnest conversation.
It's Pokemon.
And, enjoy playing it, but you're also kind of playing it with friends.
Yeah.
And they do have, it has, connectivity to it.
Okay, so I think they did DLC for Pokemon Sun and Moon, the Ultras. Okay, people are saying Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon should have been released as DLC. That's weird. This is like completely different territory.
Those were probably full-fledged releases like they had done in the Pokemon franchise before.
Yeah, and then they should have just been with the Sun and Moon game. They're like, well, this is what Sun and Moon should have been, is the Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. instead they created the Sun and Moon game, which is like heavy fucking tutorial, and then it's like, well, have the other games because they do ultra versions. Like I play Soul Silver, which is an ultra version of Silver.
Yeah.
Same with like Pokemon Red, Pokemon Yellow is an ultra version of like the 3 originals.
Yeah, because they had what, like
Red and Blue.
Or green?
Was it green? Red, blue, and
no, they
green.
did green later.
They did green later. I think they did red and blue, and then yellow and green.
That was red and yellow, and then green.
I don't know. Let me look it up. Those are old games.
They are really old. Yeah, and that's common for the Pokemon franchise, which makes sense. So if you want to wait, you can, once a bulk of the sales have already happened, you can either choose to play it right away by picking one or buying both if you have the money.
Yeah.
And then if not, then you can pick up the one that
it was
does everything.
Okay, so it was yellow, red, and blue, and then green.
Okay.
Which makes sense.
That does make sense. And it sounds like with the Pokemon Sword and Shield, they're going down the same route that Zelda Breath of the Wild already treaded by charging people for DLC packs or expansion packs, and you're not really getting your bang for your buck. You're just getting more Pokemon. That probably should have been included in the game to begin with.
Yeah, exactly.
I think people would have been happy if it was like, oh, this game is delayed by a few months, but we're going to have like the full roster of Pokemon.
The Pokemon release time goes red and green, and then 1996, and then blue, and then yellow is 1998.
That one's a weird one because all the other ones after that usually just had like 1-to-1s.
They did, yeah. This one's a weird one. Then it's gold, and then it goes
though.
gold and silver, then crystal, and then ruby and sapphire, then fire red and leaf green. Makes sense. Emerald, diamond and pearl, platinum.
And then they've remade some of them, like you said.
Yeah, like
Soul
heart
Silver,
gold and soul silver. Then black and white, black 2 and white 2, X and Y, omega ruby and alpha sapphire. Like from 2014 back, those are fucking just amazing Pokemon games. And then you get Sun and Moon, then Ultra Sun and Moon.
Well, then Shield and Sword now.
And then Shield and Sword.
Which
then Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee's one, which
what
I
was
have.
the one before Sun and Moon? The main ones?
Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, or Black and White.
The Black and White, or was it just Sapphire and Ruby?
It was well, this is how it is. It goes, that's the timeline in there. He's not looking right at it. He stole a thingy off the desk again.
So funny. Oh, okay, so Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire.
But it's like the whole point of a Pokemon.
I think it was X and Y. I remember people being incredibly excited about it. Once it came out, they talked about it for months and months and months. They really got into it. It was awesome. And then everyone, I feel like since then, there's a lot of hype going into a new one.
Yeah.
But once it comes out, I feel like it dies like right away.
When that makes sense.
Like, people are losing interest more quickly because I don't think it's quite what people want. And I know they sell incredibly well still, but I feel like that's just brand loyalty.
What do you think, the Pokemon games? Like, what do you mean by that specifically?
Pokemon, yeah, specifically. Like I said, I feel like the last two main generations, Sword and Shield and Sun and Moon, are only selling because of brand loyalty or like brand flair. Like it's like
because it's a Pokemon game.
It's Pokemon. They're gonna buy it.
Yeah.
I feel like the zeitgeist though of Pokemon, cultural zeitgeist, so like people talking about it, people.
Even if you watch
really
the
enjoying
cartoons, even
and going months and months and months, like just playing this game and discussing it and like playing with one another and doing those kind of things. I feel like it dies very quickly now. But X and Y, I remember I had not played a Pokemon at that point.
Yeah.
I remember being at work and people just talked about it for like 6 months, 8 months, a year. It just went on and on and on because people really fucking enjoyed it.
Yeah.
They had a blast playing it. They got to play with other people. Some people had carried their Pokemon through all the series, and so.
And you can do that. You can actually jump your Pokemon through
the
games.
And some people had done that, and other people, had missed a generation or two, so hadn't done that. And there was always like some sort of a conversation about it. And then with the most recent 2 iterations, the mainline ones, it just doesn't seem like that's really been around. Like that's really been a thing.
Well, yeah, it's like I remember the innovation of like, was it when they can start following you? I think it was Soul Silver, Gold and Silver. I think that is not the right thing. Maybe Pokemon. Yeah, Gold and Silver is when the Pokemon I think was innovative because they could follow you. Like you had your first Pokemon can follow you. Hold on, man, I'm double checking here.
It's just disappointing, like, to see Nintendo making the same mistakes that early third-party publishers and ostensibly their competitors at the time with the Wii, the PS3, and the 360 made when they started building their online infrastructures.
Yeah.
Like, there was a lot of worry about, DLC that should have just released with a game or released with a patch.
So what do you feel like is an ultra true DLC, especially since Nintendo's just starting to kind of hop on the bandwagon with DLC?
For me, as a consumer and a video game lover, I feel that good DLC should be anywhere between like $20 and $40. I'm willing to spend, depending on the length of content or how much you're getting.
Yeah.
And for games like RPGs or even action adventure games, like I want levels, I want story content, and then I also want like the kind of cheap stuff that Nintendo's doing, the extra weapons or armor or gear and stuff. But I want that on top and wrapped up into a story. Like make it relevant to whatever story content you're doing. Yeah. And make it truly an aside. Like, make it a new area you can go to. Horizon Zero Dawn, I think, has one of the best pieces of DLC in recent memory. It unlocks a whole new area in the map. It unlocks new creatures for you to defeat. A whole nother tribe to like talk to and like communicate with, and how they relate to the rest of the world. Okay. That game does a great job with world building and lore building as well. And it has a story, an A to Z like that story you can follow, and then on top of it, you get new weapons, new gear. Unique weapons just to that. They're not even like reskinned that are just like stronger or something. And it raised the level cap. So it's like it was more difficult on top of it. The New Game Plus mode and all that stuff which is free. It was free. That was just a patch that they added in. They added another difficulty and they added New Game Plus in. And that was just a free patch. The Frozen Wilds though, like was all encompassing. And I don't want to say it was like, $15-$20.
At most.
And I would pay that, like, for that piece of content. I think Borderlands does a really great job with their DLC. Yeah. They always, like, their season pass right now is like $50, which is, like, incredibly expensive. But that series has a really great track record of either doing, like, multiple seasons worth of content, and they're all completely new areas that you like fast travel to. They have like new characters. Yeah, but if like you buy the season pass
at $50, they give you your $50 worth.
That's what I mean. That's what I feel is like most bang for your buck. And then I'm getting like more story. I'm getting more characters. I'm getting more gear. I'm getting a level cap increase. Like
loot, gear.
I'm getting like a little bit of everything that encompass the main game. Just in a smaller portion. Yeah. Instead of getting like 40 hours worth of content or 80 hours worth of content, I'm getting like 10 more hours or 12 more hours for an additional $20 or whatever it is.
But you feel like with DLC for like the Pokemon and Zelda, where Zelda is the level difficulty in Pokemon, more Pokemon.
Zelda, I think, should have added in like their DLC or expansion pass should have been free. Yeah. It should have been trickled out over time and just given as updates or things you can redeem for free in the eShop if that's how you have to do it. And then you can have, new weapons or the trials or something like that. What they should have done for their expansion, in my opinion, is added like a new area. Yeah. And again, it could be like an epilogue or it could be a side or something. Some lengthy side quest or story driven content in a new area with new shrines, new weapons, new gear. You hate the shrines. Yeah, but it's like that is the crux of that game. I personally hate it, but I'm sure there are many that did enjoy it. I just don't. They should have just done a bite-sized section of the entire world and map, and then done it new and differently, and like added it onto the game, and you can go through that. I think that would be worth $20. If you had an entire new area to explore that looked different, had new shrines, had maybe a new item for you to use that wasn't like the bombs or the magnetic ability that you get. Yeah. With Pokemon, I don't know how they would do
add more Pokemon. Seriously.
And like
buy this, so you're not gonna catch all the Pokemon. Well, fuck you.
Then. I can picture them catch them doing an expansion. So whatever they call the, like, Ultimate Sword and Shield or whatever it may be. Sword and Ultimate Shield. Yeah, if they wanted to have that as like DLC that you pay for one of them. Like if you have Sword, eventually down the line you can spend $20 and it's like you combine both of them.
Sword
like,
and Shield.
Yeah, and they do it in DLC instead of back in the day, 20, 25 years ago when they would release an entirely new title that was all 3 games or all 2 games or whatever it may be.
Like Pokemon did.
Yeah. And then if they didn't have enough time and they really wanted Pokemon Sword and Shield to come out when it did, then all the additional Pokemon, those should just be free updates.
They should be.
They should just trickle them in as they can, as they have the manpower and the time to do so, and maybe sketch out like a roadmap where it's like, we're going to release these 100 Pokemon or 50 Pokemon or whatever it is
updates.
by this date, and then we're going to do 50 more by this date, 50 more by this date, until we get to the complete roster.
I need to play a Pokemon game and buy a DLC, quote unquote, that's more Pokemon. I was like, what the fuck's the whole point of a Pokemon game if there's no Pokemon in it?
Yeah, when you cut it down to bare bones and then sell it for $60 and be like, well, it's on the Switch, we've never done that before, and it's like, well, then take your time doing it.
Seriously.
Like, then wait. Then push back your release date for it.
And then push out the DLC for, like...
Don't price gouge your fans.
Yeah, because then you can do, like, the $30 for, like, new gyms or new bosses.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was thinking, too. You could also add new areas to Pokemon as well, because that really is an RPG.
Yeah, these are, like, these 3 new gym leaders, and you can defeat them and get these 3 badges, which makes, of course, everyone likes to fight the gym leaders for the badges. I don't even think...
Yeah, and make it a little bit harder. Make it more difficult.
I don't think Sun and Moon had that, which kind of pisses me off. Hold on.
But, yeah, something along those lines I think would be adequate for Pokemon DLC. When we were researching before this episode, the only one that I saw that seemed to have a good grasp of what an expansion or DLC should be, and we'll see once it releases, is Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Okay.
Which is very story-driven, but they have a huge piece of story content coming.
Badges.
That's going to add to the world and the lore. In the same way that the Frozen Wilds did with Horizon Zero Dawn.
Lives up gym badges.
So, Pokemon's a little trickier to add stuff in. I think it's doable, though. Adding in Pokemon, though, and charging people $30 more, I think is heresy. Like, it should just be given.
Are you serious? Okay.
You already paid full price for a game like you would on the 3DS. Like, why?
Why am I doing more?
Yeah. Especially since there was a lot of controversy beforehand that they were just...
Okay, there's... Okay, I was gonna be pissed if I didn't have any badges. I don't think I got to gym leader in the fucking Pokemon 7.
But that...
the whole point of the game, defeat the gym leaders and get the badges and catch a fucking Pokemon! How hard is this?
That, Oh, I lost my train of thought.
Sorry. I don't know. I'm tiring because it pissed me off.
Yeah, it's fine. Oh, I was talking about the controversy before Sword and Shield came out. So one of the reasons they said there wasn't as many Pokemon as the other ones is because they were doing all new assets for it since it was on the Switch. But then it came out that they were reusing assets from the 3DS.
What the fuck?
For a console.
Well, then they did that like a day and night cycle. Yet again, not innovative, not new.
No, it's really old.
Not needed in Pokemon.
Yeah, I remember that being new, like on the PS2.
There should have been night and day cycles only in Sun and Moon, and that makes sense.
That makes total sense, but it should change your Pokemon and all that stuff.
It does.
Oh, okay, good.
And Moon, like you have to catch these certain Pokemon at night for them, or
evolve. See, that makes sense.
Evolve
they did that at least.
Evolve them at night or something stupid. Like I don't remember the content completely, but I don't need fucking day or season night cycles in fucking Pokemon.
I know, I'm fine with that because I like my favorite like old school Zeldas or seasons and ages.
Well, you're weird. I don't know what to tell you.
And that changes like how the map functions.
Those
are great. You never even played those.
They're
the best ones
for a Pokemon goddamn game.
I'm just saying they could get it to work.
Didn't it rain in Zelda?
It rains.
And then when you're climbing, made the rock slippery. Made your stamina go down farther.
That was irritating because that was never like explicitly stated in the tutorial that would happen. That's kind of like my gripe with like, oh, you can climb this tower and look at everything. That's how you find it and get to it.
If you don't have enough stamina to get up the tower, you're SOL.
Well, and I did things in like weird ways too.
You do weird things in weird ways,
but then you go to the next tower and it's like, oh, by the way, you can't see everything because you're in the mountains now, so they're behind mountains and obscured, and you have to find weird paths to get. And I was like, what's the point of this fucking tower then? Like, you clear a map that has no icons on it.
Yep.
So I climbed this tower for what reason? I can't look at anything from the tower. I can't tag anything because, again, the geography hides everything.
Yep.
and
you're tagging something on like a different area completely.
Yeah, I was like, you could just give me a black map with the icon, and I will go there. And it's like it wouldn't change anything.
It's too fucking vague, and the DLC is stupid for it. And I'm really irritated with the DLC and the Pokemons, and the pricing nonetheless too. It's like
it's astronomically priced, and you're not getting a lot.
And the worst part I know with Nintendo is I don't mind them hopping on the DLC bandwagon. That doesn't bother me.
I think they should do DLC, but they should have learned from 15 years of Microsoft and Sony either doing it right or fucking it up.
Yeah.
But they just didn't.
But the worst part too is
they just ignored them.
Nintendo's games stay priced.
Oh yeah, they're full price. First party Nintendo games are always just full price.
So you're never gonna get an opportunity. Maybe they may come out with like a holiday seasonal thing, but you're never gonna get the fucking Pokemon game and the DLC for cheap.
I love the
because even when we're looking on the thing right now, Zelda's still fucking $60.
Oh yeah, I absolutely love looking at like pricing guides will come through like my news feed and stuff, and they'll be like, oh, you know, Sony's running this sale, Microsoft's running this sale, or whatever.
Nintendo's like,
well, they'll do that too. They'll be like, "Oh, Nintendo's running in sale." So you look and it's
2 cents cheaper.
"Oh, Horizon Zero Dawn has only been out 2 years.
Yeah.
Came out the same year as Zelda." You can get the complete edition with all the patches built in, hard copy, and Frozen Wilds for $20. And then you look at like Zelda and be like, "Oh, on Amazon, like for only 3 hours,
$58.98.
Yeah, it's $55." And it's like. Fuck.
No DLC.
And Microsoft even does the same thing. They do crazy
and
deals.
no DLC.
You know, you buy the Master Chief Collection for Xbox. You get a free copy for the PC. So you really just have the price of it because you're getting 2 separate copies.
For 2 different things.
And say it's full price, which they're not anymore.
Nope.
You spent $30 for a PC version and $30 for an Xbox
Well,
One
what's worse
version.
is with that $55 Zelda game, you're getting none of the DLC.
No,
DLC is still
expansion's
$20.
not built in. It isn't like they did a re-release like they did a Horizon Zero Dawn where you get the expansion pass and the game and it's $60. It's
no,
like, no, you gotta buy that separately. Still.
That's like the worst part. Come on, Nintendo. I know you're just starting to get on the on the horse with the DLC, but don't price gouge us and then don't make a deal. At least make the DLC a deal because it explicitly says with the Pokemon 2. One is not for the other, so make sure you buy the right one. So if you are like buying a sword and you fuck up and buy a shield, you're SOL. You have to buy full price for a sword.
Which would suck. And I don't know what their return policy is on like digital items. Like...
It's none. Remember, the Nintendo thing doesn't have non-existent because you tried to return yeast because you messed up and bought it when you were, slightly hammered.
Yeah, these things happen.
These things happen.
I got my $60 worth for yeast though.
I know. But that was a content of swordness for a little while there.
But then you get to watch yeast. So
shut up. But no, I feel like with DLC, they're just starting. They'll get better, but at the same time, it's like.
Well, like I saw the Fire Emblem Three Houses one, and that,
but that's not a first party. That's third party, though.
They're only ever on Nintendo, though.
Yeah.
I don't know that studio. That studio might be first party, actually.
Oh, well, I don't know that. That's not that I really am privy to.
Yeah, I don't know for sure, but they are only on Nintendo games or Nintendo consoles. But looking at their season pass or their DLC and expansions, like it seems like a normal expansion pass.
So it's not like they don't know how to do it. I just think they're going to really, really irritate their fans, especially with Zelda and Pokemon, which are, besides Mario, like the 3 heavy hitters on this goddamn console. And it's like you're just kind of gearing up to really piss off loyal fans who've started Pokemon in like 1996 when I did, and when I was 5, so I was older when I started.
So it's a second party studio, not first party.
See, that's what I mean though. It's not first party.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know why the first parties are fucking up so much when the second parties are like, we got this.
I feel like Game Freak in particular lost a lot of like good faith coming out with Sword and Shield the way they did it, like with the controversy beforehand and now this expansion and
then it's the controversy now because regardless, because like you said, it's got the loyal name on it, so it
got
got slapped with the perfect. Yeah. But the actual fans like me who are playing it and then are playing like this Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon are like saying, well, this should have been Sun and Moon, and then like Oh, the way you guys are fucking sub. Now they're really fucking up Sword and Shield. And you know they're gonna make Ultra Sword and Ultra Shield or something along those lines.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because that's what they do. Because it's like Silver, then Soul Silver, and vice versa. And it's just like you guys are just like Pokemon doesn't need DLC. Zelda, I get that should have DLC.
Which is crazy because if they do Ultra versions and you're like a crazy Pokemon fan, it's like your most favorite franchise ever. You're gonna buy everything that comes out, right?
Yeah.
Like I do that with certain franchises.
Yeah.
And so, at the end of the day, if you bought the 2 copies, the 2 expansion packs for each one, and then the Ultra versions of them, $300.
Right there.
That's what
not
just in that.
Not suspecting that the Ultra versions are gonna have their own versions of DLC.
Probably, yeah.
Like
I can picture them doing it.
$360 just right there, or $380.
Yeah.
On
just like boom ski.
Games.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude.
Yeah, spread over the course of maybe a couple years, but
still.
Yeah.
That's
$300. Which is crazy because like I've purchased some like incredibly expensive collector's editions that come with like
the
a
fall
whole
thing's like $200.
It was close to that. It was like $180 or something like that.
Yeah, but you got a fucking
I got a full like power armor helmet that functions.
Yeah, exactly. Changes your voice and everything.
Steelbook game, free DLC with it as well.
Yeah, free DLC.
The helmet, little army dudes, the art book,
and then they
the soundtrack,
up, and even when they fucked up and then it put out the computer people, they're giving that to free for everyone who bought the game in the first place or first.
Oh yeah, instead of doing DLC or expansion to make up for the lackluster reception of Fallout 76, it's like it's
free.
All the stuff's been free.
Well, yeah,
you do Fallout first now, which people will gripe about, but it's like.
But everything else.
The people who gripe about it also don't like Fallout 76 or play it, so it doesn't really
like,
pertain to them.
Y'all should just shut the fuck up.
There's a lot of people though that there's a hardcore fan base for it
who love it,
and if that's the only game they play and they've sunk hundreds and hundreds of hours into it, which a lot of people have, then they can buy it all they want. It's their fucking money. Who gives a shit? It doesn't change the gameplay for anybody else.
No.
So.
Exactly.
Who cares?
I know.
If it souped you up and made you super powerful and then you were playing on public servers, then that's a dick move.
But then that's funny because people who do that don't know how to use any of their shit, so the people who have had sunk hundreds of hours can just kill you when it's fucking
funny. Oh, yeah. Well, and it was misreported on one of my favorite podcasts, but they said that, like, people who had Fallout first were being, like, hunted down and killed. It was the other way.
Yeah.
It was... People were joining to do that.
To try to hunt them.
Yeah, and had never played the game. But then all the people who had played thousands of hours who were Fallout First members killed all of them and stole their shit.
Yep. Well, it's because...
Which was amazing.
You could do a Fallout First and you can still have an open server for other people if you wanted to.
Yeah, you can have like a private server. And then people got pissed about that because they're like, it's not really private. Like, it's just recycled. And it was like, all private servers are recycled. Like, it's not like you get a unique one that's yours forever.
Well, and then it's like, and then people were hopping onto it because it could be either private, semi-private, or if you like invite like friends or something like that, so semi-private. And then people are being dicks because they're friends of a friends who can get on your server and try to hunt and kill you. And then you're like,
which they already patched and fixed.
Yeah, they already did patch and fix that. And then it's
you can just turn it off so you're not even on, and then you can be in your private world.
Yeah, and then people are like hopping on, and then you're like, sorry, you were playing, and then they go, who the fuck is this guy?
And there's somebody in my friends list that I had met via streaming when I streamed Fallout 76.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the hell, man? Like, and then afterwards they patched it.
Yeah. And then they patched it because you have to invite them into your world. Because some people still have friends and they like the privacy of it.
Yeah, and you can play up to 8 people in your private world and just have the 8 of you.
Yeah.
With the story stuff coming out, that's going to be amazing.
I still like hearing that story about how people try to hop on and kill them and they get killed because people who are playing thousands and thousands of hours or hundreds and hundreds of hours of
I thought it was a great story, yeah. Like I said, it was misreported that it was the other way, that people were like punishing people for spending their own money and buying Fallout First for a game that they enjoy. And then these hotheads who thought that they should be spending other people's money somehow, or dictating how they spend their money, decided to hop on and like go and murder these Fallout First players. And then it fucking flipped. And the Fallout First people, who had played thousands of hours and were like level 500 or whatever, or 200, and have amazing gear.
Just one punched man them.
Pretty much, yeah. And they ganged up. They started roaming around in gangs and killing everybody who was like level 1 for a while.
Whoops.
Yeah, if you just came out of the vault, they would kill you.
Whoopsie.
Yeah, because people were just spamming. They were trying to.
Yeah,
I've heard that's a huge problem on the PC in particular. People are like hacking and stealing people's shit.
That's fucked up. I think they're starting to fix that, but still, Anyways, but I feel like, Nintendo's getting, finally I'm glad they're doing the DLC. They just need to do it better.
They quickly need to catch up and figure out, like, the third parties that have done it well, and
I think they should be able to see what their partners have done, Microsoft and Sony especially, with what's doing well and what's done fucked up.
Yeah, they've had their network infrastructure a lot longer.
I get Nintendo kind of beats their own drum, but don't be too far where you're just fucking it up and you're going to piss people off. Don't go too far off the fucking left field.
Yeah, and I don't think it
Don't
would
be the beast from the east.
detrimental to the Switch or Nintendo overall, but it would be a blemish. And it's something that they could sacrifice, but why? If you have a choice, why hurt yourself? Why shoot yourself in the foot?
Yeah.
And they just need to, and I'm sure they have people within their company, they just need to do market research. There's a lot of data, even if you're not, like, peeking behind the curtain of Microsoft and Sony.
No, there's data just out there.
There's a lot of, like, consumerism, just, in the terms of, like, reviews or message boards.
Well, even with the games that they're porting to their thing now that have DLC that they're porting as well, it's like, why not take another look at the shit you're porting?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, just take a look at what the market is saying about DLC or microtransactions or expansion passes, and cherry pick the good features.
Yep.
And, this crap DLC with just, charging people $20-$30 for either, like, more Pokemon or just a trial or a few weapons.
Or level difficulty even.
Yeah, or, like, adventuring packs or whatever. Just shove all that shit under the rug. Don't do it. Release that as patches.
Yeah, exactly.
Or include that with a much broader, like, fully encompassing DLC expansion. Yeah. Like, do it that way. And hopefully they learn their lesson, because it's like they're a heavy hitter, especially now with the Switch. And they have great titles like Pokemon and Zelda and Mario and Donkey Kong and, even second party ones like Fire Emblem. It's like they're doing really well for themselves, and they have great games. They're putting out really good games, like, generally.
Yeah, they are. And
they're just not doing right in, like, post-release content.
Nope.
Not yet.
Not yet. They're still getting there. But I think, that's a good place to slap Nintendo on the hand and say, come on now.
I know.
Right.
I would say, like, critique the things you love.
And I critiqued everything.
Fucking Zelda and Pokemon.
Piss me off. Fuck bitches.
I'll kill you.
Alright, any housekeeping?
By the time this episode released, 64 Bits of Rage will be available on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play Music, CastBox, and YouTube.
Shut up.
So, all the podcast services release every Monday. Friday, sorry. I lied.
You fucked up.
I did, Friday. I was thinking YouTube.
Yep.
And then the YouTube version releases past the weekend on Mondays. So, and it's 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So, wherever you are, do the math. If you just want to listen to it, it's out every Friday. Pick your service.
Pick it.
Yep. It's available now.
Yep.
We're more than 3 episodes in. And then if you prefer to listen to it on YouTube, Mondays. Monday, same time, 9 a.m. Yep. So it just takes a few more days to make sure that
it's released on certain servers and then released on YouTube.
So, because all of the podcast services pull from my RSS feed via CastBox, and YouTube is kind of on its own. It's a separate thing. Yeah. So I have to make sure that the video in air quotes
image on it
gets properly uploaded and tagged and all that good stuff. So that's why there's a delay with that. But yeah, we're at the point now where you can listen to it hopefully on your favorite service rather than just CastBox or YouTube.
Still. Yeah. You're getting there.
It's everywhere now.
Everywhere.
And if you haven't listened and you enjoy this podcast, check out Rage Quit. That's our sister podcast.
And twins.
Pretty much. Ariel and I co-host that one as well, and that is more PlayStation centric. Yep. And that releases 1 week as well. So weekly. That one's every Wednesday.
Wednesday. All right. I think that's everything, kind sir.
That is everything.
As always, follow the bear.
Peace.
Bye.